Well, the idea of the summer university is we have 300 people here who are practitioners. They are out there doing this in their cities across Europe. So this is a chance for them to, in a sense, take a step back from what they do, reflect on what they've been doing, share their problems, which very often are common across cities across Europe, but it's also very hands-on, and ultimately the success of this is about people doing their jobs more effectively, people getting better results, and all of us getting better value for money because we get better products. Start walking, dancing, running, anything you want to move around the room.
Today we had the first day of the conference. The conference started, we had a plenary session where some speakers gave a speech, a presentation.
Today was a bit about getting to know people in the lab, setting out the scene, how we're going to work together, and we also looked at stakeholder analysis, how to work out who you need to involve in your action planning, how to keep them interested, and how that works to implement your integrated plan.
A stakeholder is someone or an organization who is important in some way to a decision and planning process. So it can be either citizens, as simple as that, or just transport companies, energy providers.
How do we engage with them? How do we understand what they want from the process? Because they're coming there, they all want something. And then having a clear idea of how you maintain that engagement and also how you balance out some of the inequalities there are between stakeholders in a city.
Different stakeholders have different importances in different cities and different countries, so the opinions on some of the stakeholders were very wide apart, but that's also part of the learning and part of the good discussions.
So there must be a sector where there is a request for new jobs. There has to have been new jobs created. It's not just money brought here in a bag to the consumers. So some jobs must have been created, right?
We talk about cities, fictional cities. It's a city that does not exist, but it's a very real city in the way that they have problems like any other European city. And the main problem in our city Turga is that it has a very high rate of youth unemployment. Even though we were talking about a fictional city, I was able to relate to those problems. In most countries you have one big employment agency, the one from the government, and those have a lot of influence and they are very important.
Like planned commuters by car would effectively cut greenhouse gas emissions, and it would also reduce the intensity of motorised traffic. So, I mean, other ways we could cut greenhouse gas emissions would be to perhaps electric vehicles, for example. But that wouldn't necessarily reduce the intensity of motorised traffic.
So in the labs we were looking at different ways of transforming problems, different ways of tackling problems, different ways of moving them into solutions.
Well, I have high expectations actually. I think they're going to produce interesting plans and that are quite well thought through. Yeah.
The economy is flourishing.
See that this mayor has an agenda to reduce CO2. We understand your point.
Of course there's going to be differences of opinion and probably people who don't like the way you're approaching the problem or feel cautious about it. Having a good sense of that whole process and thinking it through from the beginning and as you go along will help you to avoid pitfalls and hopefully work towards win-win situations.
Exactly. So basically the thinking is
yeah, and it's really good conversations. I think it was really good to have people from all sorts of cities around the table looking at one specific issue.
That was easy.
It's just to get out of the room, really kind of a bit of fresh air. It was so hot up there that it was just nice to be outside, in different contexts.
No, and also a little bit here.
You'll have 4 groups, in most cases, who will have the same city, the same mayor's brief. They'll start with the same set of information, but they'll all go down different paths. But that's life. You don't know what's going to happen. You go in hopeful, optimistic. Some of them might crash and burn, but they'll learn a lot along the way. I think we'll get some, really strong partnerships emerging. We'll also get maybe some new ideas. So those are the kinds of things I'm really excited about.